Yeah, this cold open is not working. Just put on the music. Pop. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, to dia.log, the Gamer Matters podcast.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
This is episode 73 and the first part of the Gamer Malaya and Gamer Matters Game of the Year Awards 2020. Yeah, man.
Ooh. Clap.
2020 is ending. This is the moment we've been waiting for.
Finally.
This is the moment we've been waiting for. Man, what a year, man. What a year. Even
What a disaster catastrophe.
Exactly. So many things went wrong, and we are talking about video games as well. We are talking about video games as well. It's not 2020 is in general sucks. Even the video games can be a bit sucks, but that's not the full picture. There are still gems. There are still good games, and there are games that we enjoy throughout 2020. Either it is from us playing or from us watching other people's playing, because that counts too. So
Yes.
Introducing the panel, as always. Well, it wasn't always, but this is the new normal. We have Daniel over there.
Hello.
The other side is Anand, if we still have him.
Hello, this is Bad Mike Anand today. My goodbye is being used.
Oh man, it's okay. We can hear you at least. And this is Amirul Mekronos Ashraf, and we have a lot to talk about. And this is the time we recap the games that we like, the games that matter to us, the best games of 2020.
2020. Wow.
This is probably the third time we're doing this in podcast form, and will be the fourth awards for the site. And if you are not familiar with it, this is just us talking about games, the games we cared, and giving awards, and also shining their last 5 minutes of fame, just so that, like, if we're going in the future, if we want to look back at this year, we can easily see what those games captured at that time. Say, maybe this game is actually fine in 2020, now it sucks. Or this game is very pivotal to the trends of the upcoming years. This is a place we started to see it blooming. So that's what the Game of the Year was all about. And also to appreciate the work of the developers. They put on hard work. Hopefully they are paid well and got good rest after they ship their games. We have to hope for the good, for the better. Hopefully they are fine. So at least we say that, hey developers, we care about you. This is a small gesture. Just 3 people saying your game is good, we care about it. But
Yes.
but hopefully this can matter. So here's some ground rules to start before we start the whole discussion, so that you are well grounded on how we work. This is not like some other game awards that have like so many. They have their own style of system. That's their awards. This is our awards. So that's the main point. This is our awards, and it's judged by a panel of 3 people. Just 3 people representing Gamer Malaya and Gamer Matters. That's us 3. And the choices that we make may not be aligned to the general consensus, but that's fine. We like these games. You may like others, and that's okay. We're here to listen to people talking about the games they care. If you don't care, that's fine. But we hope you come in and still listen to us ramble for the next 2 hours. There's gonna be personal bias at play. Some of us have very specific games they like, and that game may feature prominently, even though in the general zeitgeist, not many people will care about it. Again, this is our awards, so doesn't matter. And also, if the games are reviewed, they have an objective score, but here everything is subjective. Review scores doesn't matter. If a game that got 10 out of 10 doesn't win Game of the Year, that's totally normal. If a game that scores like only 7 out of 10 from our review and it scores like top 5 in the Game of the Year award, that's business as usual. Again, this is a subjective list, and this is our list at the end of the day. If you have a problem with it, that's fine. Make your own, and then we'll listen to it. I would actually genuinely interested to see people arguing against our choices. Hopefully in civil manner. Game sucks does not count as an argument. But before we go through the nominations and stuff like that, that's gonna be on the next episode. This episode is purely to just go through the short list of games we have. We are shortlisted. That counts as the best games we played or we watched, the games that mattered to us in 2020. These games will feature in the in the award section. Some may not get the cut, some may not even get an honorable mention. That's just how it goes. But we still care about these games enough to at least give them like a 3 to 5 minutes splurge of why do we like this game. Most of the games are released in 2020, except for several asterisks, which we will explain later. I think we're gonna explain out from the get-go. So yeah, let's get the ball rolling. And we have listed down 31 games. The first is, interestingly, was not out this year, but technically it did came out this year on the Nintendo Switch.
Wondering what game is that? Yeah, it's Among Us by what's the Japanese development? I've never heard of the developer. Innersoft, yes. Okay.
Okay.
So
who wants to talk?
God.
Who wants to take the ball?
Oh God, okay lah. Alright, so I'll go first. So timer starts now because I have a timer. Alright. So Among Us is a game where it's basically modern werewolf. You know, a game that we played back in high school or middle school. It is where there's 7 or 8 people, depending on your player. And 2 or 1 people are the imposters, where you have to kill all the remaining crews in order to win, this round, or maybe because it is like the duality of the imposters and the crew. All the while, your ship, ataupun in the future, is it a plane?
Airship.
Airship, yes.
The new is an airship.
Yeah, the new is an airship, yeah. Because you have to take care of your ship, spaceship or airship in the moment of every game, and then let's say someone call for emergency meeting due to, seeing a body. They now banter in a round of what we like to call accusation round, where I think like the terms before this I've never heard the term sus used before.
The thing about Among Us is that this game came out of nowhere, as in it became popular in like a snap of a finger. It came out of nowhere. Oh, hey, why everyone playing some? Oh, I get it. It's the kind of game that people in 2020 needed. That's why it trended in 2020, because now everyone is isolated in their homes and can't talk to people, and can't meet friends,
cannot
and
argue
family
with your friends.
So what way that we can argue with friends while still having fun? video games. And especially in Malaysia, there's plenty of people that do understand or do play werewolf a lot. I remember some of my non-gamer friends have played, like, they made Telegram groups for werewolf where the bot
Yeah.
tries handles all the game, yeah. So this is basically a no-brainer. The game is free on mobile. Of course, it took off. Of course, it spread with word of mouth. Everybody is like playing it. Everybody wants to have a go with their close friends. They play with their own rules. You can make house rules. And then, of course, the biggest moment about Among Us is that streamers caught on. Streamers bring this game
God damn.
from the dead.
Yeah.
Suddenly, this game that was like super obscure, released in 2018, is now a social phenomenon that we are talking about it right now.
So it works.
It's definitely a right time at a right place where Among Us suddenly appear. Anand, do you have anything to add about the game?
I guess the perfect description for Among Us revival is it's in the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yep. Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, that's Among Us. Like, it is an interesting game that we wouldn't have bet an eye when it was released. This year they got their break. So to the how many people at Inner Sloth, I think less than 10 of them, who are now scrambling to add like proper account system, multiplayer bans and something like that because of the whole everybody is playing and now it's porting over to consoles. Enjoy enjoy this moment of appreciation that you've got. Hey, your secret Hitler game is actually fun. Now people actually acknowledge it. I mean, I personally prefer Secret Hitler just because I can see a lot of Hitler. I can accuse people about being Hitler.
9999.
But the concept of werewolf or the concept of bluffing game, a social game about bluffing, is very universal. It caught on. So good job, guys. Was that over the limit?
Not really. That's like 3 minutes, 50 seconds. On time.
Yeah. So that's the cadence we look at. We're gonna take into. That's good. Let's move on to the next game.
Yeah.
God, I have to do the intro itself. So the next game we have is Animal Crossing New Horizon. Also another game that took off during the quarantine phase of 2020.
Also another perfect storm.
Another perfect storm.
Seriously, I think this is.
One of the best candidate for that game that marvels within a perfect storm. People are coop up in their homes during the quarantine, and then Nintendo Switch has become one of the biggest console. I'd say like recent console. Like
the casual side.
Switch brings in casual gamers and non-gamers into the fold. And then Animal Crossing came out during the pandemic. Everyone's cooped up. Then when they cannot go out, they cannot do activities. So the substitute is play your virtual life, Second Life, with some cute animals.
Yeah. You can't go out and catch bugs. So why not do it in the game?
Yeah.
And at least in real life, it's at least in Animal Crossing, it's less depressing to pay off your debts. Gotta remember, the whole game is about going into a desert island and then making your own life separate from the world outside and have to pay your debts to Mr. Nook, Tom Nook, Toad Nook.
Luckily, the debts are interest free.
That's right.
Yeah, but even though it's like a chill game, right? The players can be really competitive in the sense that they will cheat, they will exploit, they're doing trading. I'm like, what the hell is happening?
Travel, the time travel. Like, why? Why would you cheat in a game that's literally about animals and island living?
The fact that it caught on to even capture those kind of players who are I think the developers at Nintendo didn't cater to, means that
Yeah.
Animal Crossing did very, very well. And it's just fun to see the crazy things that people make. Also, there's a creative solution, not creative solution. You can create like
Creative
custom
outlet.
costumes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good creative outlet to the point that people are making interview shows within Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Shout out to Animal Talking for getting who else? Brie Larson. Who's the guy behind Machete? Danny Trejo. Danny
Yeah, Dan
Trejo.
Trejo.
And
My
whoever
God.
else play Elijah Wood to play Animal Crossing and have an interview within the game. Celebs doing that. It also even have propaganda. I mean political campaigns being conducted. I don't mean propaganda. I take that back. But you can do even political campaigns within Animal Crossing. It kind of took off, man. It kind of took off for a simple game that would be just another cool entry to the Animal Crossing franchise. It's actually something that we're gonna remember from 2020 for quite some time.
The Wonder Child, the Wunderkind of 2020.
Okay.
Is that good enough? Okay.
Yeah, that is good enough.
Alright. Let's move on.
Yo.
We have a lot to go through. This is game number 3.
Game number 3.
Assetto Corsa Competizione.
No, our first racing game. Yeah, in this category because this game also came out like in 2019, but the caveat is that it released in consoles and bet poorly in 2020.
Yeah, and we finally actually put it on our radar in 2020. So it's here. Don't argue with us. It's just how it goes. What to say about Assetto Corsa? What I'm going to say is that the fact that it focused so much about one championship, just one thing, they need because this game is actually an official game for the what they are calling it, the GT World Challenge right now. They've lost their title sponsors. So the names has been changed for some time. Basically, they model just GT3 cars and GT4 cars, and they've done that exceptionally well. They have all the cars and the tracks and the liveries for that championship, and I think it's like with all the updates, it has reached like 3 seasons worth of liveries and cars and tracks. Some of them have to be paid, of course, and I need to mention some of them are Itashas. They have enemy cars because that's real life, man. You cannot argue with real life. They are doing that.
If you ask why, we'll answer why not.
Yeah.
Anything else to add to ACC?
I guess like one of the best thing about ACC, as a unbiased journalist, its handling, it's by far one of the best in the business. If you want it on console, because on console itself, there's like only 3 games that are focused on simulation, which is Gran Turismo and Project Cars.
Oh,
but now we have like Forza. Oh yeah, shit! I'm sorry, Microsoft. Yeah, 3. So there's 4. So Gran Turismo, Forza, and Project Cars. Yeah, Project Cars. And this one's like, I think this one is more to the simulation side, to the point of it's rivaling the games like PC only iRacing, which is just fully sim. And this is actually a good game kalau if you want to learn about this sort of racing, because if you go to a normal Assetto Corsa lobby in your console of choice, there will be one lobby for quote-unquote GT3 racing only, where you have to use these race cars and only these cars. So now with their specific game, now they don't need to do that. they can just play Assetto Corsa Competizione. And I think like they have BOP, that's if I'm not mistaken. So like every car is different. So if you want to drive a fast car, use a Mercedes. If you want to go use slow car, you can use other games, other cars. Well, it's very weird. Like its mechanics is also weird, like in real life.
Yeah, it's quite the simulation, but from someone who plays racing games but are not into too much of the sim side of things. I do enjoy my time with ACC. It's comfortable enough for a newcomer to approach, though to get most of it, of course, you have to go full sim lah. But even I think that they've managed to make it accessible enough. Maybe they can do more, but from what I see, from what I've played, it's kind of accommodating to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ACC.
I mean, technically we are gentlemen drivers in the real world.
True. All right.
Ooh, next up is Command and Conquer Remastered. The first in the line of remastered games that came out in 2020. Mac, what is this?
Okay, this is one of the games that we don't play. We're gonna say it early, but it's also one of the games that EA remastered, and it turns out actually better than expected. What they have to do is make sure the original Command Conquer games as well as Red Alert scales up to modern devices, to modern PCs, and they've did just that. They've also upscaled the very corny FMV using AI, and they look good. And they maintain the soundtrack, which is very 90s hard rock. And all the things that you expected from your nostalgic days are still captured well with the CNC Remastered Collection. Unlike some other Remastered Collection from a well-loved PC strategy game that came out this year. Yeah. So despite all odds, EA actually made a good game. I mean, there are a few games that didn't make the cut. We didn't care enough. But for me, the EA is actually finally making remasters and actually do care about their remasters by having the right developers on the job. That makes a lot of difference. And you can see that this, and also the game benefits because another strategic game block. Look.
They flock so that he can flounder. Wait,
Yeah.
that's the wrong term.
No, not flounder. Flourish.
Flourish, yes. I'm sorry.
What a blunder.
Oh man. High speed, low drag. Yeah, CNC is good. I'm very well appreciate the work that they have done. See, if you care enough about your old games, you can make good remasters that people will enjoy and will gladly pay for.
That's some mobile trash.
And also, EA also released another remaster this year, and that was not worth the money.
No.
Despite the game being 10 years old, I do like the base game, but the remaster doesn't do anything much. CNC, however, did a lot of things that you should expect from remaster, and that's the expectation that I have with remasters going forward, actually, especially old games.
Yep.
So
I sort of hope that they will continue remastering CNC for things like generals. My friend loves generals.
I love generals.
Even though I didn't play it, I want a lot of people to experience it. Just like my friend. I want him to get a new CNC general.
Terrorist entertainment, please.
Yep.
Okay.
That's enough the time?
Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna go on to number 5. The I'm going to make a monarch out of literally siblings and questionable children.
The Habsburg Dynasty.
The Habsburg Dynasty.
Apparently, the Habsburg Dynasty not predates. What's the other way around? See, this game predates the Habsburg Dynasty. That's the way to put it. Crusader Kings 3. Oh man, I think this is the best game Paradox Interactive put out this year.
No doubt.
No doubt. They've put a lot of games and they delete some, but this is the best game they've put out. One thing, they've addressed a lot of the pitfalls of the previous games. One of them being, we have too many DLCs. So now, if you just go into CK2, you'll be overwhelmed with too many DLCs. Now they are putting expansion packs. Not expansion packs, I mean season pass. So you'll know that, okay, for one season, you're gonna get this pack. Which is actually much more manageable. Even though you still have to pay some more, but I prefer it that way rather than a landslide of 20 DLCs that you may or may not need.
Yes.
And all of them adds up to like 1,000 ringgit or something like that. Which is kind of overwhelming. So at least they improve that. Also, they improve the way the game looks and the way the game is. They make the game approachable. The looks, as in now, instead of just portraits, you have 3D models. And when you have 3D models, they went crazy with it. If your character goes to war and got injured during the war and lost an eye, that character will put an eye patch on. If that character is sick, you can see them getting sick. If that character goes into a pilgrimage and that pilgrimage have to have them actually go bare naked, they will go bare naked. Even there, I think there's a toggle to censor the nudity. So that's the thing. And of course, the classic things of Crusader Kings 3 is that this is a grand strategy game where the whole bit about the game is that you do what you want, and most likely what you want is to make your text, your kingdom name, that text on the map to be the biggest of them all. Basically conquer the world lah. But the fun bit about CK3 compared to other strategy games is that there's a lot more RPG into it. You can spec your character out. You can have events play out where it kind of feels like a visual novel. Oh no, someone is approaching you, and I think she fancies you. Do you want to reciprocate that feeling? Sure. Wait, did you check the name? Oh no, I didn't. Who was that? That was your own mother. Oh, god damn. Why did the mother do that? Oh, the father was not faithful. He already has a bastard son. God damn. There's a lot of like fun things that is fun because it's kind of like, at the end of the day, it's just basically spreadsheet data where, this character spawns, this character have this stats, so this character interact with this character. But when you weave it into a whole storyline, it can be something fun, it can be something depressing, and the most important of all, you have the agency to do something about it. Like, you don't like that guy, how about you conspire to kill them? Maybe if it succeeds, that guy will be smothered with a pillow by some guy you know, who knows that guy, who knows this guy, who knows this guy, who is his father, something like that. That's the fun of CK3. Is that something weird can happen. Who knows? If you want to be a king of Sweden, but you need just one county over there, but you couldn't get, and what happened? Why didn't get that? Because that county is married to the Holy Pope. At the Holy Pope, the Holy Roman Empire's king, or someone with allegiance with the Holy Roman Empire. So you can do nothing about that. That's fun, man. It's just stupid fun. Even if you don't know the system, it is much more bearable to start. That's another good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Crusader Kings. I think I've went through over the time.
No, not really. You that was 4 minutes 40 seconds, so not that bad.
Okay. Yeah, CK3 is stupid fun for me.
Yes.
Speaking of next game.
Oh boy. It is the game that's been talked about for the at the time recording being talked about like a lot this week, which is CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
A game.
I mean,
It's a game.
it's a game. The Reddit page for this game is like full on bashing CD Projekt Red at this point. It's not full of fanboys. The CDPR subreddit is like, okay, let's make fun of these guys.
How the mighty has fallen.
Yeah, I don't mind people. Like in the span of 1 week, they have become like one of the best developers to now everybody. They have
the sound of the drop of that's the sound of the stock price dropping.
going down.
You know what? This is probably a good time to buy their share before they jump back
good
again.
time to buy the share before the Renaissance, which is in February probably. It is like if we take out, the bugs, the issues and all, like everybody and their mother have said, this game would have been the RPG to beat basically for the next decade because it's systematic when your gameplay. It's amazing. Like there are some promises broken, tapi it is a good game. It is not, sadly for Mac, it is not a. It is not an immersive sim.
It's not an immersive sim, but I will put this note on another feature that I might cook up. They did actually do some things that are better than an immersive sim, which is the whole story bits, as in outside of driving vehicles, you are locked into first person. Even Deus Ex didn't do that. Even the new ones, even the old ones didn't do that. Think about it for a second.
Oh, yeah.
And all of those scenes are well realized, are well performed because all of those are mocap. So you are basically just there sitting. Basically, you are sitting on the stage while a mocap is being performed, which is kind of cool.
Exactly.
And you're wearing a GoPro on your head every time. That is one way.
Also, one of the features that people overlook is their lip sync technology. I played with different language. I played in Japanese language dub, German language dub, and the lip sync movement is perfect. I would say like 90%.
Yeah,
95%. Really good.
Yeah, it's new tech. I think this is the first time they're trying out this tech. So
yeah,
it's nice to see.
It's basically like live lip syncing instead of mocapping the lip movement. So they already have a sequence of, okay, this sound in this language, what kind of mouth movement does it have? So they already have that, and they implement it perfectly.
How is shaking?
Give notes to Square Enix and Sega, which will help the localization process for them. Because Square Enix do that. I think they've managed to do like similar stuff with their own tech. Sega is having problems. That's why they staggered their English and Japanese releases. But yeah, that's another feature. I have a lot of other complaints about Cyberpunk, but that's not for this moment. What I do like to say about Cyberpunk 2077 is that the original soundtrack is just. I want my synthwave to be dark and brooding, and they deliver it 10 out of 10. That's the Cyberpunk theme that I wanted. That's so amazing, man. When you hear when tension rises up during quote unquote a cutscene, and the song keeps up going up. It's just yeah. That's the game I wanted. This is the moment I've been waiting for.
I think we can stop there for now because we have more things to complain in the next recording. Because man,
I mean, like in short, Cyberpunk is overpromise, underdeliver.
Yes.
If they you promise just right and market it just right, it will be a good game. Like people won't complain as much.
Yeah, its main mistake was the marketing. Really.
Yeah.
If they just straight out say, oh, we're gonna make another janky OS game, I would have totally okay with all the bugs. But hey, they went there. They went there.
They can pull a Witcher 3, but they don't.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yep, moving on. 5 minutes. That was impressive. So next is another game that I think is marketed wrongly for a racing game. This is our second racing game out of 4. It is Dirt 5, which until now I feel should be just called Dirt Showdown 2.
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah, it's arcadey.
They are trying to capture the vibe of the 2. You remember the whole festival style of things, right? Oh, we're gonna be, look at these colors. Oh, we're gonna be going to another festival, going around the world. Where do you go around the world, you think? Nah, don't matter. They literally address that. They literally just say that. What I feel about the 5 is, at first, I feel like this is your generic next gen racing game title. Your obligatory next gen racing title. Because graphically it looks awesome. The dirt effects that the cars can pick up when you drive through mud looks fantastic. And you can have layering effects. Some like, you can see mud keeping up, and if the track is like in snow, you can also see snow particles latch on your car after the race. There's a lot of cool graphical effects, such as you can see reflections in the puddles. I don't think it's ray tracing on PC in terms of it uses NVIDIA tech, but they have puddle reflections, god rays. And if you remember, this game is technically developed by the remnants of the makers of MotorStorm and Drive Club. And you got a lot of those vibes there. In terms of MotorStorm, the off-road race is kind of, you get like wide tracks, lots of curves to drift about, and plenty of cars, like 12 cars in the race, which is, I think, is kind of overkill. And in terms of Drive Club, you get those dynamic weather coming in. It's overly exaggerated, as in like you just spun around like it's a 5-lap race. Lap 3 from like dusk is already midnight. Just roll with it. Lap 2, it was like bright shining sunlight, and then lap 3, heavy rain. Just roll with it. It looks amazing. Don't worry. It's fine. It's visual eye candy. The weird thing is that some of the things that they promise doesn't live up too much from what the marketing blurb says. Like, we have a livery editor. It's not good enough of a livery editor. We have a structured campaign mode, career mode. At least it's not Grid 2019 structure where you get to see everything and just say, why should I finish it? At least the branching path is kind of motivating in some ways, but you can do better. There's still room to improve. And the whole bit about having Nolan North and Troy Baker as their voice cast, basically the characters they play are disembodied Troy Baker and Nolan North. Nothing special.
Easiest, I think that is the easiest gig since Role, probably.
They basically just play their own characters. But I do appreciate the podcast moments. I don't really listen to the Donut Media guys, but I do believe that they kind of improvise a lot of the stuff. Like, they banter about like so many, like too many times, I guess. Like, you will get podcast episodes as like rewards for, you've progressed enough, and then you get to hear. You don't get to see, you get to hear the storyline that is happening behind the scenes. Like, okay, the Donut Media guys are interviewing Troy Baker. What do you have to say? And they just like banter about, even making jokes, which feels like kind of off script, but they keep maintaining it. There's some charm to it, but some people can read it as cringe. So depending on how you like it, I find it kind of okay. But the best thing about Dirt 5 is that it really sells you the how racing games can look like going to the next generation. I played it on PC. It was on ultra high. It can still run at 60 FPS, which means that there's still room to improve, man.
Definitely.
Dirt 5 is basically the visual eye candy of the year. That's where we should end the discussion for Dirt 5 here.
Yep.
And it does that spectacularly.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So next, we now give our attention to the one true Demon Slayer, that is the Doom God in Doom Eternal. Ooh, this game. Music slaps. And even though they have changed the guys after a very interesting controversy between Bethesda and their former lead music guy. And now, Mick Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, let's throw out the music problem aside. This game is as they did back 20, 30 years ago, that they want to revolutionize the shooter genre.
Mm-hmm.
But it is trying to. Yeah, it's a good try, tapi there is some complaints I have about the game. Like, the puzzle mechanic. Tapi as a shooter, as a very frantic 1v many shooter, perfect. It is basically building up from Doom 2016 and just say, okay, what can we make more crazy and better?
Yeah, in a lot of ways they kind of overdid it, but yeah, I think that's plenty of people's gonna point that out, and kinda, but when they nail the tone, when they nail the action, the best way to describe Doom Eternal is relentless. It doesn't want you to look away. You have to put your time in. The music will keep you on edge. The enemies will keep on appearing, and they will not stop until you rip and tear until it is done. And Wam's quote about Doom Eternal still rings true. It is kind of a character action game with FPS mechanics. Doom Eternal is basically character action because there's a lot of things that requires not only precise action, precise moves, but also rewards you for doing it in style. I do like that they reward you for going aggressive. No, you don't hide around here. Go for the kill, get the glory kill, and you get half. Oh no, you get half back. Oh, you want more ammo because you run out? Go up front, tear out the chainsaw, pull out the chainsaw and tear them down. Get your ammo. You are always encouraged to keep pushing forward, and I do like that. That you don't get a lot that sort of like gameplay style within an FPS, especially like there's plenty of cover shooters, right? And plenty with aim down sights. This game is basically going back to pure Doom, pure FPS, pure arena shooter.
Unadulterated shooting with some story.
Yeah, with some story. Say some. Doom is good.
Yes. That is our 3-minute mark. So next up, we have from violence to very casual. We have Media Molecules 3. A game that there is actually no genre.
I won't say this is a game. This is not a game.
There is no genre for this game at all. It's a maker.
This is a game maker.
Yeah, it's a game maker game.
The game maker game. Basically the RPG maker of our time. Basically.
Yeah.
I think this is it was teased back when the PS4 was announced. That was 2013. So it took them 7 years to finally make it to one solid package. with by far one of the best tool sets to make a game. Like, if you go into their discovery page, they have a discovery page where every month they'll just update it to the best games. It is by far the most creative things you can see. Like, there was one game I remember that is basically just a gag game that goes on for 6 titles. And you know it's a gag game, tapi they somehow can drag it to 6 games. I'm impressed. The level of creativity in Dreams, and it's outstanding basically. And I think like with the next gen coming in like late this year, the power that they have now, like 12 gigs of RAM, the new RNA2 punya GPU, they're just gonna push it more. We might even get a full game, because I think now you can there's like they don't do this whatchamacallit like monetization thing, that if your game is very good and Media Molecule likes it, they can sell it. So far, no one has taken up that offer yet.
Oh yeah. Also to note about Dreams, it's the first game from first party Sony to be released in early access.
Oh yes, I forgot that I bought it for early access.
And you know what? I think early access for even AAA games is totally fine. I think I can live with that.
Yes.
I think I can live with the notion of paying a game that will not be completed yet and have problems from the get-go while we know about it. But you can buy and play if you want to. And it will get better over time. I think being upfront like that is actually, I think we can normalize that.
Yeah, we should
Instead of
really normalize
pushing unfinished game.
Somehow I managed to stick that in.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah, Dreams is it moves something forward. It moves the game industry forward in some ways. And I like to see the legacy of this game moving forward.
Yeah. I'm especially intrigued by the premise of simplifying game making to the point where you can just take a controller and make a game.
Yep.
It's like the abstraction from a very specialized tool down to a more democratized way of like game design and bring out creativity within people. Keep on dreaming.
Keep on dreaming.
Keep on dreaming. Okay. Next is, oh boy, I'll let Mac take this one because this is his favorite game. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is the indie version of Takeshi Castle.
The game show game. From the game maker game to the game show game. Fall Guys. Here's the thing. This would have been a big flop. A rumble tumble even. But thanks to PS Plus, and thanks to the hype from just one day before release or something, it exploded, man. Who would guess that everyone wants to play a multiplayer game where it's all about crashing into each other, punting each other around, falling about, and just have a good time. Especially when, again, this time in 2020, where we cannot be in contact with people.
Yeah.
I think there's some appeal to that, but also it also stands out on its own merit by actually proving that you can make games, fun games, party games even, and have it within the larger multiplayer skill. Like, it doesn't need to just be a 4-player routine with your friends/enemies, frenemies, friends that may be your enemies during the game. But it can just be also other anonymous people who just also just want to have fun. And hey, if you lose, it's okay. Just hop in back into the queue, get a new game. And it also kind of capitalize the battle royale theme, even though it's technically it shouldn't be even considered as a battle royale. But the mechanics is just that it kind of clicks like a battle royale. People just say, "Oh yeah, you can play with friends, you can play with a bunch of other people. It is an elimination process. I could be the one guy. I could be the one guy that didn't fall. I could get the crown." And I think there's a lot of appeal to that simple concept of just, and also doesn't really have a high skill level. Okay, there is like, once you know the map, you're gonna get good, but the brilliance is when everybody is just like a new contestant in Takeshi's Castle, where you have no idea what to do. Some just fumble about on the starting line because they don't know what to do. And that's the brilliance of the game. And it just keeps on going. I'm surprised that they keep on rolling in free content. I don't know how long it will still have Steam, but at launch, at least the first 2 months is actually quite a blast. Fall Guys is pretty fun.
Yep.
I feel it might fall into the Overwatch trap, but we'll see how it goes. At the moment right now, we will look back at 2020 saying Fall Guys is good.
Alright. So, moving on from a multiplayer experience to one of the best JRPG single player experience in recent times, basically. It is the remake of Final Fantasy VII, which is also had been teased back in 2014. So this has been a long time. This game.
Mm-hmm.
And it did deliver. I think so. Like what can we say again from this game, basically?
We can say that I have to own up on the words I've put before. I was not hot on Final Fantasy VII Remake. I have lots of doubts coming in. Even when we actually played. Remember that, Daniel? We actually played early. An early E3 demo, like it was a 1-year-old demo at the time.
Yes.
It was early and it feels kind of rough, but there's a glimmer of hope that maybe with a bit of polish, with just bit tweaking of the numbers, the game can be good. And you know what? It's not just good; it's excellent. This is Square Enix's best action RPG yet. They've managed to combine all the RPG influences from the original game, but converts it enough to fit into the action game the mold, that's the word, into the action game mode. So it's action RPG, and it's less Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy 15, but if you like to think about it, it's kind of character action-ish. Not fully, but you have specific moves that considers timing, something like that. And from a fan service point of view, I think most people will walk away happy.
Oh, definitely. I was.
There's some things that are contested within the fan and community, but from a lot of viewpoints, in general, they've delivered what the fans wanted.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, a good RPG.
Above and beyond.
And remember, this game is just one small part of a 3D PS1 game. It's crazy how long this will take us on. I don't think this is gonna be a trilogy.
Quadrilogy?
Make it 7 parts.
7 parts? Oh god. 7 discs. Imagine the price on D.
Imagine the Final Fantasy VII Remake collection. A full game. How many hours there? 200?
Yeah, don't give Nomura any ideas. It's already long.
But still, overall, props to Square Enix. that there's a lot going into the game, they've managed to hit it out of the ballpark.
Yeah. Cool.
Where did this come from?
Yeah. Suddenly we have a late entry. So now it's not 31 games, it's 32. And it is actually I'm also a bit interesting. God, my English is terrible today. Interested in this game, which is Flight Simulator 2020. A game that is another game that's actually very, let's say, very,
Fortunate.
get into the like fortunate. Like they're fortunate to release during a time where everybody cannot fly, go out places.
But a recurring theme. Who would have known?
Yeah. Oh no, we're stuck in our homes. Oh look, a game that literally can fly you from any airport in the world, thanks to the AI generated landmarks, which may or may not create a monolith in Australia, depending on their mood.
Hey, somehow Bing Maps is actually relevant.
Yeah, they
Bing
made big
Maps.
bets. Google? Nah, never heard of it. Bing Maps, baby. Let's go.
Bing Maps, the creator of monolith in Australia. Yeah, Flight Simulator is the game that really took off, so to speak.
No pun intended.
Because of
crash landed.
And for the most part, it delivered, man.
Yeah, it did. Like you can choose between the small planes or a little Boeing 747, and then just pick a destination, be it United States, London, some outback in Greenland, no,
Or your own house.
or your own house.
The map is literally the world, yes.
Yep. The world is your oyster.
Yeah, shout out to, what is it, Asobo Studios again? Let me get the name right. The developers of this game did also release last year's interesting game called A Plague Tale Innocence. Remember the rat game?
What a switch.
And
the rat game.
Oh yeah, but the thing is, the rat game was the Switch. This is their forte. Their forte is like open world games with cars, vehicles, and simulators. This is their forte actually, which is interesting. Outside of the pizza game that they made about Ratatouille, which is also another rat game, but that's another thing.
I think that's the forte, just simulators and rat games.
Yeah. But yeah, they did awesome job with what they have been tasked. Okay, it's not literally the whole world being rendered, but the things that they have handcrafted is well done, and the flying physics is enough. Is also say accessible enough if you just want to have fun and you don't really care about the sim, and also deep enough for the proper sim heads with their HOTAS and flight sticks on. So yeah, Flight Sim 2020.
It's the best flight sim in the market for being just the only flight sim.
I was going to say, is it by default?
Yeah. It's by default. I mean, alongside like DCS, but DCS is combat.
DCS isn't like a decade old already.
No, they have a new one. I mean, recent. It's not exactly new, but the graphics is up to date enough. Yeah. Also, this is one of the most demanding game released this year. This is the new Crisis, Flight Simulator 2020.
I'm still impressed that they're going to cramp it into the Series S next year.
Oh boy. Can't wait to see how it fares.
300 300 gigs. Oh. All right. So next up is an interesting. This is our curveball game of the year, which is Frog Fraction Game of the Decade edition. Yes, this game came out 10 years ago in 2010. Yes, it is a weird game. Mac, explain.
Okay, Frog Fractions is a game. It's an educational game that teaches you fractions and maths using frogs.
Nothing shenanigans happens. Yeah, I
it's
assure you.
It's an educational game. You learn maths and fractions. It used to be a Flash game, but with the demise of Flash in 2020, it has been timely being ported to Steam. So you can play the game for free. And yeah, it's an educational game with maths.
Very educational.
Very educational. Nothing weird will happen if you look under the pond. Nothing. Yeah, you get upgrades. You get to be better at maths. Your frog will eat more bugs and be better at maths. How long gonna do this?
2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3 quick maths.
Here's the thing. If you haven't heard about Frog Fractions, oh boy, you better go play Frog Fractions now. It's on Steam, it's free.
Yeah, it's free. Try it.
But the thing about Frog Fractions Game of the Decade Edition is there's an optional DLC which adds a hat for your frog. An iconic hat for quite a price. We just adds a hat. No, don't worry. We won't call it out because this is not the kind of other publishers do when they put out paid DLC. You'll know when you know. Again, this is an educational game.
You know what you know.
About fractions and maths. Okay, break the fourth wall. Prompt. There's a game within Frog Fractions. And there's another game within Frog Fractions DLC. And you know what?
How?
It's not matter of how. It's a matter of that is the time. Now is the time. And they say yes. Now is the time. You know what? It's actually Frog Fractions 4.
Oh my god.
Yes.
You think this is... No, you've already skipped 2 games. Oh, the other game that you can buy on Steam, that's Frog Fractions 3. That's not Frog Fractions. Frog Fractions 2 is the ARG leading to Frog Fractions 3. Yeah, okay, now that if you are weirded out with all these weird things, Frog Fractions is a game that will question your curiosity and it's a rabbit hole game. The longer you deep, the more things you discover about it. And it's quite the discovery. Definitely. It's a game that puts up a facade that kinds of like, okay, why does this feel appealing? Why do people play this? And then you got it. Pump. And then you understand what the appeal is. There's a wormhole of other games inside Frog Fractions. In particular, Frog Fractions 4, which is released this year. That's why it counts here. Anymore, we'll save it for next episode. That's gonna say. Yeah. That Frog Fractions is a game about being a frog. An educational game that you learn fractions and maths.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Timer done. Next up, we have the best game if you want samurai and revenge stories that is made by Sony. That doesn't include word TLOU in it. It is Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. Where do we begin? We can begin with...
We begin Like, can we begin when they announced the game back in 2018? How
Okay.
did they do that? They did it by bringing the E3 press into a building where some guy was playing one of the rarest Japanese music equipment in the world. Now you know something special about that.
Yeah. To 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 be clear, this is developed by a Western developer, not a Sony Japan-based studio. They are based in Seattle, Washington. Sucker Punch. And the fact that they've done their legwork to recreate what you can say as medieval Japan before the Sengoku era, but basically during the era where the Mongols start to invade mainland Japan. Before they are out. Tsushima, the island is not really in mainland Japan, but they are basically the front line when it comes to the Mongol invasion. They got the brunt of the attack, the assault, and that's the first thing you get to see. It's kind of horrifying in some ways.
Yeah.
But the whole
This is also sort of like an alternate history where the Mongols sort of like winning in a sense, even though they actually in real history they lost 2 times because of typhoon.
Yep.
It's an interesting power fantasy that respects its source material, and by source material as in the history of the land, the culture of the land at the time, and what else? The literary works that cover that event. In particular, the works of, what's the director name again? Akira Kurosawa. Yeah.
Kurosawa. Yeah.
Yeah, Kurosawa. They even got the rights to use that name for a filter to make the game kinda look like an old time Japanese film. Not quite there, but I appreciate the gesture.
Yeah.
It's not quite there, but you know what they are aiming for. And the fantasy, the big thing about Ghost of Tsushima is that the way they present the world, the open world, it could have just been another Assassin's Creed clone, but rather they let you as a player to just discover the world at your own time. Like what you see around the world will guide you to interesting places. I know it kind of the gimmick that they showed in that state of play video right early this year. It kind of feel weird, but it actually works. As in, I don't even need to look at a minimap. I just look at where the wind blows, or ask the wind to blow. You can toggle it, and just look at some interesting stuff that catches your eye, like the small hummingbird. Even if you don't see the yellow bird, you get to hear them. They'll buzz around, and then, oh, what's this? Especially when the world is kind of silent for most of the time. It's just the natural sound of the the forests, the jungles, and the swamps. So it has that kind of immersion to it. And when it comes to combat and stuff, they nail it well. The katana feels like a powerful katana. Sometimes it can be a one-shot kill, as it should. Sometimes a bit more, but it doesn't feel the bullet spongy. The story is well told, although kinda like, what you say, it's kinda like what you expect from a stereotypical Japanese flick. But it hits what they wanted to do. They did it well. They executed it with style. And lastly, I have to mention this surprise launch a multiplayer mode out of nowhere
for free, and it's good.
And it's better than the paid looter games you get to pay you get to buy for free. It works. That's the most surprising thing about Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. Even if you don't like the whole, I mean, you have to appreciate the gutsu that they went for what we assume to be the swan song of the PS4.
Yeah, definitely the song on the PS4, not some other game.
I mean, there are cross-gen games, but we didn't know back then. So this is technically
Yeah.
just one song. It looks better on PS5 apparently.
Yeah, the color pop because thanks to auto HDR and all. So yeah.
Oh, the world is just beautiful. They went for a style and they nailed it. Yeah, that's Ghost of Tsushima.
Also, a small note. The island is called Tsushima, Su Island.
Yeah,
So calling it Tsushima Island is a double.
Yeah, island. Yeah. Oh,
Su Island.
Oh, by the way, even though the mocap they don't have lip sync for Japanese voiceovers. Hopefully they took that AI tag.
Yeah.
They don't have that, but the Japanese voiceover is strong. I do prefer the Japanese voiceover.
Japan have a very like the top tier voice actor. Like if they take a bottom tier voice acting, that then so they get bad.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jin sounds like your grudgy strongman Gatsu with the gravely voice kind of samurai. I prefer that. Not to say the English dub is terrible. I think that works too for those who prefer that. But I just prefer the Japanese version much more. Yeah, that's Ghost of Tsushima.
Yep. Speaking of another Ghost game, we have another re-entry, which is Ghostrunner, which is a game. It's a mid-budget title game about also about Cyberpunk, except this time you are a ninja. Is it a ninja?
Let's say cyborg ninja.
Yeah, cyborg ninja. That doesn't include metal or gear, and it is one of the brutalest first-person game I've seen in recent time. Like, goddamn, you literally just die in one hit, and people love that.
Yeah, this is. I played the demo bit. It feels like super hot, in a sense. Reverse super hot. I don't know why.
Reverse super hot.
Did we mention the game name again?
Ghostrunner.
Okay.
Ghostrunner. Like you have one shot.
Yeah, you have one shot. You have one health. You have a very nice long katana just to slash enemies. Go. Basically, that's the game. The premise of the game. And like I've seen your opinion, acrobatic is too similar to another first-person game, which is Mirror's Edge, but in taken to 11, like you literally have to jump from billboard to billboard so that you don't fall to your death. And like
Yeah, and the meta game for Ghostrunner is like smooth flow from beginning to the end. So if you can do it, like that's like top tier there.
Yeah, you can literally just run it in one run.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good design. Like, I really like. It's not a game for me, definitely, because I suck at these type of games. But it's hard games. But look, like playing the top tier level players, like speedrunners playing this game is just amazing. Like they can jump from billboard to buildings in an instant. It is those difficult domestic games, pretty much. And I think the music is pretty good as well. I've seen people live streaming and it sounds nice. Any more to add to this very interesting Cyberpunk game?
It nails the Cyberpunk aesthetic.
Yeah,
I'll give it that.
Yes.
Like for me, I'm not too hot about the gameplay itself, although I do respect that they are moving that direction. Just not for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's totally just not for me.
Yeah, same. Same for me.
But the fact that this game kinda, I won't say out of nowhere, but rather like it's kinda low key about itself. There's a demo about this game that looks kinda like Mirror's Edge crossed with Dishonored or something like that. People keep saying.
Yep.
And then it suddenly came out, and hey, they what they wanted to do, they did it right. So you gotta give props to that. And certainly something
Right.
that you can remember back when. Oh, what other games that did Cyberpunk theme outside of that Cyberpunk game? Oh, okay, yeah, this one. This is a good game too.
Ghostrunner, yeah. Okay. Another indie game that's on our list, number 16. Hades. Yes, Hades. By Supermassive Games. I'm borrowing, I don't know their names, but I've reviewed their games.
Is it Super
Hades.
Giant Games?
Is it Supermassive?
Super Giant.
Super Giant. Oh my god, messed up. I'm sorry.
Super Massive.
Supermassive is the one that made Man of Midian. Yes, I remember now.
Nah, we're not gonna talk
Man of
Man of Medan.
Midian. Nah. So yeah, Hades. Greek mythology. Roguelike. Yes. Very good story. 100%. And it's, I think, the first time I've seen people literally lusting over voices. So that's how good it is.
From what I can tell, is Super Giant putting all their previous games together. All the good things from the previous game. So the top down combat from Bastion, the customizable abilities from Transistor, and the other is what, Pyre, right? Pyre is the visual novel storytelling from Pyre. They combine that all, put it into a concoction with a hint of roguelite flower into it. They mold it. They took their time. It was in early access, also another game with that thing going on. And when it went 1.0, it is what you expect from a Supergiant game. It's massively polished. It works as intended. All the mechanics are working fine and dandy. The story is hitting it out of the ballpark. Guess what? They took their time with it. And also no crunch.
No, that is the biggest thing that I take away from this game, is that they have treated their developers super well.
If you are looking for a game where you can be ethically ethically responsible, a game that is ethically produced with no crunch whatsoever, at least from what we know, what they tell us, Hades is one of those.
I think it's like, it is one of the few games on this list that literally can be run on a toaster, 4 gig RAM toaster, because their engine is that optimized. So anyone can try this game. And that is what is on our list. Bad. Any more to add about Hades?
Oh, we still have running time.
Yeah.
What else to add other than, this is the game that everybody is there's a good crowd of people that like this game. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to actually play it, but it's something in the backlog. I'm just not too hot on it because of I'm not too into the Greek mythology stuff. But that's on me, not on the game. I think the game deserves a mention, especially when it comes out this strong after a good set of early access. And you know what? Early access games can be done well. And if you follow the development, these are the sort of developers that it's not exclusive to them, but they are the sort of that lets you know within the game itself when's the deadline for the next new update. Okay, what we're gonna do add on this update. So people are always in the loop with where the game is coming into, which is actually a good show of like trust with the players. You know, at least you know when things gonna go south. We all know already, rather than have it as a massive bummer. So that's Hades. Again, I think coming out of 2020, I'm now a huge proponent of early access.
What a surprise.
What? I'd rather have an early access game that lets you know early, hey, this is what you're getting. Are you fine with it? And if you consent to it, then that's fine. What are you? Hey, this is good.
Yep. Break time? Yep.
Yeah, let's stop it here for a while, and we'll put some ads somehow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long break. Not really. I just put something on the in the middle in the interim. Yeah. We are halfway through the list of the now 32 games. Best games of the year. That is 2020 for Gamer Malaya and Game Matters. So let's just start on with game number 17, which is
the game where the dad finally came back after his very long trip to what was it? Black Forest Cave in Half-Life episode 2. Yep. Finally, a decade later, Gabe Newell will come out from his man cave in New Zealand of all places and said, "Oh yeah, we have a game coming up. Here you go."
And then proceeds to be back in the man cave in New Zealand.
And it comes back.
Hey, it's safe there.
Those hobbit caves.
You can't complain. It's safe there.
Man just bought a cave, the hobbit cave and then duduk sana, basically.
Just stay there. Wait for another game. Yeah, Half-Life has always been a game of tech demo. A very good tech demo, and Half-Life Alyx is no exception. A very good VR tech demo.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Finally, a VR game that we can all aspire to when we buy a VR headset.
Yeah. In fact, the Valve Index, right? The HTC Vive pretty much sold out before the launch of Half-Life Alyx. So yeah, people are buying because of Alyx. That's how good this game is.
Finally, a VR system seller.
Finally. Not Beat Saber. It's not VR chat. No, it's literally the prequel to Half-Life 2. So, yeah, the game is set like before the events of Half-Life 2. Before Gordon Freeman. Yeah, Gordon Freeman suddenly came into a train. And I think it showcased the City 17 beforehand, so which is very, industrial complex, where it's familiar but it's different at the same time. And I like they brought in at least Alyx, because that means there is connection for us into this new, technically new world.
I think the best. Okay, continue. Continue.
No, I'm done.
The best thing about Half-Life Alyx is that it proves to most people in the world that you can actually make a proper game in VR. Like, there are proper games in VR right now. It's just that it doesn't have the cloud or something like a Half-Life. That people can just say, oh, this is not just a gallery shooter. There are a few games that do that. That are actually full experience video games that you expect just in VR form. There are a few of them. It's the one, but Half-Life Alyx is the one that people can just point out to. Yeah, that game looks fun in VR. In fact, you can only do it in VR unless you hack something around it. And the way that they implement all the VR, we say, Yeah, because there are not really
VR
set
things.
standards of VR. So some people have different tolerance of motion sickness and preferences of do they play with a space or they want to sit down or they have limited space. They have different controllers. Like the standards of VR is very murky. But Half-Life Alyx kind of accommodates for all of those setups. And
Yep.
anyway you enjoy the game, as long as it's VR, the game will accommodate to you, and it will still be you can walk away with some enjoyable experience with it. I like that reloading is I know it's not really a Half-Life Alyx thing, but reloading is a manual and arduous process. Finding singular bullets by scavenging around cupboards is a thing. And there's also your what you say, your trademark Half-Life things, which is set pieces. Some of the level have one gimmick. Oh, this level has this gimmick. Okay, let's go. So there's still what you say, the feel of this game is still being developed by Valve. A different Valve with different developers now, but there's that Valve touch. Even the soundtrack feels like from 2004.
Yeah.
In a good way. I do like my drum and bass one sometimes.
But yeah, and also the twist at the end, which we won't spoil, is very interesting for everyone. They know where to push our buttons, basically.
Let's just say this is a Half-Life game, through and through.
Yeah.
I think that should be enough for now.
Yeah, definitely. So we go from first person to a lot of person. It is another racing game, our third entry, which is Hotshot Racing. And this is one of the best throwback racers out there in the market right now. Just the fact that it is fun, for one,
Mm-hmm.
and it has, its cars are different, all of it, and I think like the fun factor, they focus on the fun factor all in all instead of other things like the tracks and all. Is it true?
Yeah, it feels like they took notes of all the things that made an arcade racer circa 1990s, and they went with it. They went with that direction, follow it through and through. To the point that for whatever reason, the races will have you go through checkpoints where a timer ticks down. And it behaves exactly with a game and with an arcade racer where the timer ticks down. Let's say it just goes to 0 and your car hasn't stopped to a still and you manage to pass through the gate. Time extended. Let's go. It managed to capture the small minute things that you would expect from an arcade reason for no other reason to just throw back to the good old days.
Yep.
And there's a lot of like the handling is perfectly fine for an arcade game. It feels like exactly what you feel. Basically, Burnout. Essentially, that's the arcade controls that
Yep.
you can expect from Hotshot Racing. I do like the cars and characters though. Again, they play with pick a character and the character will whip up one-liners, and they have different cars, and the cars are all legally distinct cars that you can see on the road or track. That's kind of like that tofu car, maybe. Or why the car that looks kind of like an NSX have a green, black, and red, white colors there, which sound which is similar to some racing car from the 1990s. I don't know. Coincidence. If you like real cars, it pushes you the right buttons.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
it's also. But I was just about to say it's also on Game Pass, but yeah, so it's basically free right now.
Yeah, if you're on Game Pass, it's free. No reason to not try it out. The aesthetic is nice, even though you say, "Oh no, this is another low point." the low poly stuff they did is just nice. It pops up. It pops out. And you know what? There's something nostalgic about a racing game where the background is just blue skies. It's a small thing, but you kind of like, yeah, this is my happy place.
I remember this type of games.
Yeah. Good to see that some people remember the good old days and remember it very fondly.
Can't wait to see where it's stacked up with the other, big titles in this year.
Mhm.
So another game that's also fighting for attention is a game that's about planetary discovery with the wackiness of a cyberpunk aesthetic. The corporate greed aesthetic, which is Journey to the Savage Planet.
Yeah, more Outer Worlds-ish post-future dystopia, less cyberpunk. Like I wouldn't say low tech, but there's a different kind of art style lah, basically. But yeah, the corporate team is there. The stupid corporate team is there. If you like there's a sense of humor coming into Journey to the Savage Planet, and if you like a game that pokes fun of corporate and capitalism and exploiting a planet, a barren planet, to the point they call it a savage planet. You know what you're getting with the title. But it's all good fun. It's all good fun. It's silly. To the point that you can pick as a dog as your character, and for the whole game, your only bugs, your character bugs are literal bugs, dog bugs. Oof, oof, oof. That's the stupidest joke that went through to the whole game. I didn't got tired about it. They were there. And it tickles that Metroidvania feeling while still being a first person exploration game. Which is almost immersive sim. It's almost there. But it's really not. But if you like Metroidvania, exploration games, and not stupid, capitalism-less humor, Journey to the Savage Planet has something in store for you.
Yeah, and it's also free on Game Pass as well. So, give it a try.
Nice. So, I didn't realize that. Oh yeah. Is it on console only?
Yeah. On PC as well.
Ah, okay. Nice.
So no reason not to try out this weird and quirky first person explore planet game.
Yeah.
So moving on from first person to third person, we have a game that is finally in the making. Actually, it was announced at the Summer Game Fest, and it is Mafia Definitive Edition, a remake of the game from 2000. And boy, the grow is real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I'm just gonna sum it up. Like, it is a modernized take of the original Mafia game. Better controls, better car handling, and like better story flow. Even though like some original fan does not like the new modern flow. Like, it's more not really interpersonal, because this time it takes a more cinematic approach, which we have seen in the previous Mafia titles, Mafia 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with it because it is basically what I've done is they have made it into a Godfather style, where acts and then there'll be an intermission and then another act. So yeah, it is an interesting choice, which I applaud Anchor 13 for trying, because yes, it is a game. It is an open world history game, basically, because the open world is not open world. It is just drive here, do mission, and then go back home, which is the original formula of this Mafia game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Mac, did you like Mafia 3 that much?
Let's say I don't have a proper opinion about it.
Yeah, the Mafia games body are heavy from Mafia 3. So it is why the game is basically in the 50-50. Some fans like it, some fans doesn't, because it is a game that is, taking values from 2004 and now bringing it into 2020. The what's we call it? The making the mafia mob boss thing fun. But all in all, it deserves to be in this list because it is an open world game that is no other. Because nobody has made their games since LA Noire, basically, where you just drive. It is story based open world.
Yeah, the open world is more of a set piece rather than what you are coming for. It's a game design style of the time, and it's cool that they still preserve that. They really want it to be a remake of that game, not to. I mean, like there are games that take it another direction. We have talked about it before, but they are sticking it to their guns, which is interesting still.
Yeah, and yeah, it is one of the best like open world aesthetic games that are around. So yeah, go give it a try. Speaking of giving it a try, there's this one game that I'm really wanting to try but haven't. It is a weird game called Maneater, and I believe Anan likes it, but I'm not sure if he's here right now.
Yeah, it looks fun.
Anan, explain.
This is a true short RPG.
Shut up, RPG. Shut up.
Short RPG. If you want to relive the days of Jaws, this is your time. Hit somebody's ass.
I like how stupid they went with it. They know the concept is stupid. Well, who cares? Let's just
Why
go.
not? They're like, this is dumb. Let's go for it.
The fact that you can have your shark to just flop around on the ground while killing and eating the beachgoers, and then flop back into the water to regain. And then you can customize the shark with armor. You can evolve the shark is one thing, but you put armor, then there's another question.
Yeah,
like
definitely
metal
it
sheets.
Truly a game on its own, basically. The true RPG shark that we needed in this very interesting time. And I like the marketing they've done. Like they've literally just look at these people enjoying the game, even a virtual YouTuber. Which I think is the first time that pretty sure they are the first company to acknowledge that virtual YouTubers are a thing. So props on them. Maneater. From a shark to another animal, we have yes, I do transitions very good. Hire me. We have Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Another range of Sony's, small tile sequels, which sees you playing as actually now a very fan favorite, because Miles Morales, after his movie came out like last year. No, not last year, 2 years ago. What can I say? It is besides. It is the reply that Marvel need after the disaster that is the Avengers game, which we're gonna talk about. So like this is a
millions.
Yeah, the word is. I think Marvel's execs like thank God, Insomniac is doing a small sequel. If not, we will be ruined. And yeah, it is a good game. Spider-Man is a good game, a good iteration of what they have done back in 2017. And it is a very unique take on the storyline because I think they have taken a lot of liberties to differentiate, like the original Marvel Spider-Man. So, like, there is some story beats that you have seen in the movie, which Miles Morales was starring, but they have changed it to mix it up a bit, which I highly appreciate.
Yeah, I still like that this is technically Insomniac Spider-Man. It's another universe, but they still hold true to like the key things that fans love or what you say know about their characters. But how about we twist it this way? It's a familiar face with a new unique twist. But we're not going too far, so you'll still be like, if you know your stuff, you know your comics and whatever else the IP has been around, you'll still be entertained with this take of a Spider-Man game. But if you don't know, that's fine. Hop in. This is new to you this is new to most of us as well.
Yep. And it runs amazing on the PlayStation 5. You have the game. The price is questionable, but yeah, it is a good game to have on the PlayStation 5. So now it's time to. I think it is that time we can puff out our chest because number 23. It's a Malaysian-made game that we have been teasing since 2018.
Malaysia, boys.
Our homeboy product.
Our homeboy product. We have bantered with him twice and we didn't get a code. But anyway.
It's our boy, one of us man, his team at Metro Mori. Shout out.
Yep, it is No Straight Roads. The first, yes, it is the first, like, I think big budget game for the team at Metronomic and MSC, or the Malaysian Cyber Corridor. That is legit our name. We have not made this up.
Wouldn't it be under MDEC?
Yeah, it's under MDEC, but the punya big two is MSC, blah blah blah, etc. I think this, can we count this game as a double A game? Because it feels like, I played it, it feels like it is a double A game.
If you're gonna go with the analogy that this is kind of like Fury, we're gonna call it Triple I.
Triple I.
They did use that indie game, but triple the quality or something like that.
The triple indie game. Yeah, like it is. I like the demo. I've played like all of the demos from the E3 one to the Epic Games one to just retail copy until like to the boss, because we have been very busy for the past few months. This game, it is basically I want to say it's not really a boss rush as I interpreted, but there is some like enemies sprinkle around so that you can, get the feeling of the level, of the team of the level and the beat that they'll be using. And I like the style. I like the unique style. I like the music. The only thing that this is gonna be controversial, I don't like, is the gameplay. Can we say that? Not mocking one husband, but the game is very clunky. Like gameplay wise, like its mechanics. The mechanics to hurt bosses are using like button presses. So if you have, like, some people have this disability that they cannot press the button too much, or they will, due to neural issues, they can't really play this game because bosses are beat by using quick time events, basically.
Falling into that trap. Okay.
Yeah, so the game is clunky a bit, and even though I'm playing it on, I'm not ashamed to say, but I play on easy and it's still very hard.
Interesting. But at least we can take away with No Straight Roads is that this is aesthetic city, man. everything about the game when you
Yes,
look and
definitely.
hear about it is everything just scream, look at this aesthetic, man.
Yep.
Look at this, hear this, listen to this. All
Yes,
that.
This game got
the sights and
style.
sounds amazing.
I like
Yeah.
that they even didn't, you know how like a lot of the indie developers from like smaller countries, even like Malaysia, right? We kinda gravitate to, okay, look, this is the game that we put our culture front end. This is this is
Yep.
what we feel. I do believe that those games are important, especially when
Mm-hmm.
these are like from marginalized cultures, smaller cultures that not many people are exposed to and can do the theme justice. But what Metronomic did, with No Straight Roads, is something a bit more global, something that everyone can speak, can see and relate to. But despite that, there's enough of the injection of those Malaysian sprinkles here and there. Just enough to that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wonder what this is. Go into Wiki Dive and thank, boom, you become a man of Malaysian culture or a woman of Malaysian culture. Because of a wiki dive, rather than, oh, look at all our unique culture. Nothing wrong with that, but I like the way they went with this route, with this route, with
Yep.
this rate that is not straight.
There is no stereos anyway.
So shout out to the team at Metronomic for actually like realizing what they wanted to do. They have a vision, and this is what they went through. And you know what? I do enjoy it from the sidelines. This is pretty cool to see.
Hmm.
Sure, falls here and there. But, hey, we can learn. We can afford the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it is the first big budget game, so there will be some hiccups here and there.
And remember,
Like,
what
the publisher.
Hazme has the small bell at the office to stop people from crunching.
Oh yeah,
For
I remember
whatever
that.
reason,
I remember seeing that bell.
for, for whatever reason, that thing sticks out very much, like especially right now. So thank God for that little bell.
The hotel bell that he keeps on his office. the so oh oh my god, I'm about to say that. Funny that you mentioned Bell because the next game, the next name is Bell. Oh my god, that is a bad transition, and you should not hire me for doing that. It is Project Cars 3, the sequel to a very popular game until now, Project Cars 2.
Until now.
Until now, that's why. Because Project Cars 3, when you peel off the sticker, it's actually Need for Speed Shift 3. I admitted on my review, and people did agree with me. So yeah, this game is Need for Speed Shift 3, and it's actually the better grade. Tell me, it's not the better grade. It has a better structure. Like you start from road cars to literally super F1 cars, and all in due time. And like their rivals mode, they have this very cool mode called rivals mode, where you fight. It's basically like the Gran Turismo's qualifying mode, where you can have a ghost racing with you. So if you can beat it within like the time given, you will get money, cash to spend cards or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that the ideas are there. The ideas for a good shift game is there, but goddamn, they have ruined the name. Hmm. But the colors are amazing though. By far one of the best so far in the Codemasters lineup. I
Yeah.
think because dirt is even terrible. Has terrible colors. While green, even green has the terrible colors. But in this one, you have the choices of you can have road cars, or you can have those trophy trucks if you want, or a NASCAR. which you can race against GT3 cars because that's how open it is. So it is basically.
This is basically. Did we lose Daniel? Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Oh, sorry, that was the sim racing community trying to kill me. for talking good about. For literally talking good about this game.
Be careful, they are all punting you into the Shadow Realm as we speak.
Yeah, that's why. So,
oh boy.
So so I'll just cut it short, I guess. So game good, game bad. And I think like the new gen consoles are making the performance there is also performance issues in the game, but it still runs at solid 60 frames, so good for you.
Alright.
Ooh. Next one is also another game that I review as well. Which is also a game that polarizing the audience. My God, why do I like games that polarize the audience right now?
It's fine. Remember,
it is Resident
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is our list. We don't care about your feelings. please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. All right, so the next game is Resident Evil 3 Remake, which is which, if you do not know, is Hideki Kamiya's final game on the Resident Evil series before him moving to Devil May Cry and then getting booted out. It is. Again, this is the same thing like Mafia, actually. They have taken liberties from the original game way back in the 90s. And yet this one clicks to me. It didn't. Resident 2 Remake didn't click at me as fast as this game, actually.
Now that's a hot take.
Well, yeah, that's like yeah, I get that RE2 had to follow, the style of A and B, Claire and Leon. This one, they followed they have mixed and woven together the storyline very quick because it is a short game. They've woven the storyline very quickly, like from Carlos and Claire. And it is actually a much better. Jill, oh my god. Yeah, apologies.
It's a long session. It's fine.
It's a long session, and I've messed up many many fans already. Okay. So yeah, so Jill and Carlos. And yeah, it is a good story. It reminds me of they're trying to make it tie in, I think, to Revelations due to the structure, because the structure is the same thing. Like, you start off with Jill, and then we change it into Carlos for a few bit, and then come back to Jill for the finale. So I think they're trying to tie it up with the Revelation series, which is basically the Jill series of Resident Evil games. And it works. Definitely works. I think people criticize this game for being too action-packed than the original, but oh boy, I can't wait to see the fourth game's remake reaction then, when it goes full on action and cheese. But again, Resident Evil fans will cross that bridge when you get there. I mean, we have more problems right now with Capcom's recent problems, aka everything leaks. So for now, my valid opinion of why this makes it into our top 30, or probably our top 10, is that it is a good Resident game. 2 for 2 basically. It was last year. Because RE2 was last year.
Yep. That was last year.
Yeah. Oh, I think the next game would be interesting to make. Because it's your game.
Ah yes. After the tyrant that is Nemesis, we see a small little Sackboy having their big adventure.
The biggest adventure.
Oh man. Okay, first off, Sackboy A Big Adventure is basically the spin-off for the Little Big Planet series. We've known that Media Molecule have developed another game outside of the Little Big Planet series now. Look at Dreams. That's what they are making.
Yeah.
So this has freed up some new ideas. What if Sackboy is not tied to any creation system and just make a 3D platformer, straight up 3D platformer? The problems of the past Little Big Planet games, it's not really a problem, more like a quirk that the control is not that suited for tight platforming. Even though it can be done, but it's kind of off in some ways. Sackboy is full 3D platformer and plays like a dream. It is good, it feels solid, and the levels are just long enough that you can start and stop a session, have friend quick drop in and out. Although I didn't test the game with friends, but I can see the appeal of having friends drop in and out. And now that the latest update has just added online co-op, so that's fun too. But the biggest draw of Sackboy Big Adventure is that this game is also kind of like a static city. The biggest thing about Sackboy is that some of the levels are they use music to full effect. To the point that in the review, we are instructed to not really talk too much about the music stuff. There's good reason for it, and I don't think this is a spoiler. But if you like surprises in Sackboy, now's the time to check out. Okay, too late. You're here. Let me tell you this. There's a level called Treble in Paradise. All of the levels in Sackboy is basically puns for a new mechanic or a level gimmick. So this one is treble. Music. Okay. Go into level and then this sounds familiar. And then it keeps on going. And then the lyrics came in. This is Uptown Funk. God damn. Hot damn. You go to the next sequence. Boom. Hot damn. To the point that, okay, there's a lot of like level transitions, right? They do it by you going into something and you'll be shot into like a cannon into the next area. To the point that the game will the cannon will basically stop you, wait until the right beat drops, and then it continues. Like it waits you hallelujah. Wait. And then it launches you at the right moment. And you know what? It was not just one level. The next level, I heard you a remix of Junior Senior. But sounding like more world music like. They use like a lot of like instruments from what I can say probably from India, Nepal, because the theme is around like winter place. And that's not all. They if you look at the official music soundtrack, the official soundtrack has like a cool original tunes from like artists that you can find on YouTube. There's one track from Too Mellow, if you recognize that name. Very prominent. He contributed. So basically, like small, no, I won't say small time, but very famous on the YouTube side of things. Their channel names have those notes, musical notes to denote that they are a music creator. Those guys are contributing to the official soundtrack. But the licensed music are kind of crazy. There's one level that uses David Bowie's song, "Let's Dance." There's also one level where basically you are helping a rogue AI being in an abusive relationship with the main villain, and guess what music that plays? Toxic by Britney Spears.
Wow.
I can't believe like when you that moment, right? And then I'm just like, I'm on an elevator that is moving sideways, and I need to hop over like electric coils and stuff like that while the music keeps on crescendoing. Like, holy god, hold on, I'm just laughing my ass right now. Hold on, and I need to do precise platforming. So there are a lot of those cool surprises that I did not expect coming from Sackboy, but they use music so well to the point they integrated into the level, like on the beat, man, on the beat. Like, now I have run out of examples, but there's basically I can't remember the song, but there's also an elevator sequence where you just go up of an elevator and the music keeps on going. I can't remember what the song is, but I remember that was cool too. This game does its gimmicks and it does that gimmick well, man. I'm pleasantly surprised with Sackboy. If I had a recording of how many times I just burst out laughing with why did they pick this song? I'm just astounded by the way they use the songs. This is not a specialty. I think Little Big Planet also used licensed songs, but they didn't use like mainstream hits. This one, songs that you can hear from the radio a lot, which is kind of crazy. That's Sackboy a big adventure. Very big indeed. Big in music.
Big in music. Boy, oh boy. So, from big music to big battles, next up we have a very interesting sequel to a very beloved arcade franchise, which is Street Rage. Street Rage 4. Ooh.
You know what?
I've seen the trailers. Yeah, I've seen the trailers and it looks nice. So, like...
You know the crazy thing about Street of Rage 4? This is a Sega IP. Sega didn't make it. This is basically Sega giving the blessing. Hey, you. Yeah. You're a fan that likes our old games. You want to do a new sequel? I give you a blessing. Do it. And they did it.
Oh, so yeah. This is the second time, right? Isn't it? Like the second time they have given an IP and like, go crazy with it.
It's not something like Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania is Sega publishing it still, but it's more like Wonder Boy. A very obscure Sega set. I think not Sega Saturn, but a Sega console. And I think this is the same publisher as well, Emu. So this is the second time they did this deal.
Yeah.
The Wonder Boy thing is a remake. Yeah, remake. While this one is a proper sequel. It's a beat 'em up, and it plays like your old beat 'em up. So it may feel a bit weird where you can't really move fast, but that's just how it goes. That is how it goes. But if you treat it as a proper beat 'em up from the time, and then you look at what the art style they have went with, you will just be blown away. It is quite the aesthetic city as well. To use the same word again. Also, best thing about Streets of Rage 4, again, like a typical beat 'em up, there's the endless elevator stage where the elevator just keeps on rising and enemies keeps on jumping into the elevator and you have to beat them up, of course. It has one of the best songs. One of the best elevator songs. I think it's called Rising Up, appropriately enough. Synthwave. It has synthwave. And it's mega hype.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't really rate Street of Rage 4 high because of the gameplay, despite that I feel like the gameplay is suffice. It's just not my thing. This is here in the list just because, hey, look at that sprite art. That looks sick. That looks sick, man. I'm glad some people still, maintain the craft.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we can go wrong with more beaten ups like this. And speaking of perfect remix of a classic, You can tell from my small laughter, that this is a game that which I love, and it is Game Matters' first ever 10 out of 10. It is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. Is it 1+2 or 1 and 2?
Let's call it 1 and 2.
1 and 2, eh? Okay, so this game. Oh my god, where can I start? Okay, I have my 3-minute timer starts now.
Should
this
be 2
game.
minutes, right?
2 minutes. Whatever.
Now you can as long as you keep your combo, it will continue. It's okay.
Yes. So this game, they've taken together all of the best parts of the previous 10 games. That is not a gimmick game or a remake or a terrible sequel, and just cobbled together into one very nice package. It is a throwback game because it is, like I said, 2-minute timer, skateboarder. Here's the map. Go do it. Collect all the goals. And they made it make it into such a good game. Like the loading time is non-existent. The gameplay feel is just amazing. Like it is basically muscle memory at this point. Like if you pick up a controller and play again, you'll remember instantly if you have played any of the previous Tony Hawk titles. And like it's so very throwbacky. Like you can still use the D-pad. It's because people doesn't use the D-pad. Yeah, people doesn't use the D-pad anymore, but they do. You can do combos on the D-pad. That's how good they are. And I think my friend played the PC version, which is they have taken liberties from one of the best ones. The best port I think was Underground 2. And they made it better basically, because I think Pro Skater 5 didn't come out for PC, isn't it? On remembering correctly.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So they had half a decade to figure out how to make this game work on the Epic Game Store, and they did. So yeah, perfect port, perfect gameplay. We can literally see Tony Hawk now in his 50s old, and yet can do tricks. His signature trick, the 900, holding a bit slower than before.
Look, Tony Hawk's son is already old and a pro skater. That's how old.
Yeah, Tony Hawk's. Oh my god. You can play as his son, and his son can do the 900 as well. That's how old he is now.
That's how old we are now.
Yeah.
Think about it. I think the last time we saw, is it Riley Hawk, right? Last time he appeared in a video game from those days, he was still a kid, like us.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, I think in Shred, he was like 18. Yeah, that weird game with the board. He was like 18. Now he's just literally 20 something like us. God damn. Time has changed. But Tony Hawk is also eternal.
I mean, we grow older all the time, but we can still pretend to be Superman.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And I'm glad that for all of the people, Activision knows it right. No, they continue to understand how we want a remake. There's a formula to a remake, a specific kind of remake that most people want, especially the nostalgia-driven ones. And they did it again. Like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Tony Hawk. They've nailed the trilogy.
What next? Crash Bash. Finally make a good Crash Bash.
Oh, man.
Come on, Activision. That's your next very hard challenge.
They have to do Spyro 4 first. Now that they've done Crash 4.
Ah, yes, they need the true sequel.
I need to erase whatever the non-official Spyro games after 3. I need to erase that from my memory.
The Universal Cinematic Universe doesn't exist.
The Elijah Wood one is a fever dream.
Yes. It didn't happen. So, moving on, or skating on, if you so desire. Next is a Square Enix title that was overshadowed by its bigger brother with better marketing and more or less better gameplay. Trials of Mana.
Hey, guess what? There's also another really big this year from Square Enix.
Yeah.
And guess what? This one's much better than the previous Mana remake.
Nobody talks about that Mana remake at all.
Oh man, Trials of Mana is interesting because one thing that this is technically the official release. Well, if you don't count the Switch port from last year, this is the official release of this game to the West in English form. Because it was a very late SNES title and it never got localized. Everybody was on the PlayStation hype train back then. So now we get to see the game. Okay, it's not really the graphical powerhouse, but what it did is basically transfers all of the interesting action RPG mechanics that was kind of ahead of the time when it was on the SNES into a modern action RPG game. It works. It's surprisingly fun. Okay, it's kind of limited because of its age and the skill of the what you say, the remake is not as big. But what they did is much more than serviceable. I think it stands out. Let's not talk about whatever the design choice of localizing that one character to be fully in Uwu voice.
Still the best character.
One sentence is a fun gag. A whole game, questionable. I wouldn't want to feel. I don't want to feel that I can't do Uwu.
I want to ship my family.
Imagine we do Uwu for the whole segment. No, that sounds wrong. I cannot. So that's the problem. But the fact that they have the goal to actually do that means that they are trying their best. I at least give them that. I do not like it, but someone has to, I guess. Someone cared enough to do that. Yeah, the RPG elements, the way that you pick your party members from the get go, which opens up opportunities to like play through the game again. Again, this sounds like if you think about this game as an SNES title, this is kind of groundbreaking in some ways. Although in the current format, it's kind of like, yeah, interesting. With that being said, the fact that the game exists, we now get an official English translation, and the remake is being done well enough to actually enjoy it on its own. I think that's still a big win for Square Enix. Not as a big win as Final Fantasy, of course, but this is still worth mentioning. There are good people that are working on this game that deserve respect.
They are in the top half of the Square Enix good tier, because the bottom half is basically the quiet man and left alive. Square Enix. I still have nightmares over those two games. the not so quiet man.
Next.
And next, also not so quiet, but very high in the form of Resist and the Thing. It's Watchdog, or as commenters would like to say, Watch_Dogs -Legion.
Oi, mate. Possible Watch Dogs.
Oh, oh my! What a join the resistance, blood. It's a very nice kid.
Go on, blimey. Get in there, my son. Yeah, brethren. What's up with Watch Dogs?
I think that this is credit to them, to Ubisoft. This is the second time they've used this map. Is it the second time this map, or is London the AC London is different than this AC?
Let's assume it's different, but the same setting
Yeah,
nonetheless.
this is different. Yeah, so that's I think endless, but still, this is I think by far the most realistic London by scale since the Getaway back in 2005.
The Getaway.
Yeah, the Getaway. That's how. So London didn't have a modern take of London since 2005. Back when the PlayStation 2. So it is nice to have a game on current and next gen that can see you walking around a very accurate London, more or less. I mean, macam like Brixton is being mushed together of Heartbeat, and Oxford is non-existent, tapi still forget the details. It's still a good London. And like the gameplay, and it is Watch Dogs. But I think this time they've taken more emphasis on the stealth. Like you literally start off with a character with no gun. Like halfway through baru dapat like I don't know, as assassin, or if you are lucky enough, you can recruit those SIRS punya agents that have a standard issue pistol which you can literally just one shot people with.
Oh, I was expecting you to say you can just recruit the makeshift police force that uses machine guns to terrify the normal pedestrians with random checkups, which is kind of overkill.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I think like this is one of those games that you can make your own story. Like, oh, I hired this police guy after he was terrorizing this lady. Oh, tengok he was actually, because like their thing is that they have this profiler which can go in depth, and then you see him. Oh, he was actually abused as a child, and he was trying to defeat the abuser before losing in court, or something like that.
Oh no. Two lines that make a good backstory, and now you're invested with some random NPC. Which is a good trick, man. It's a good trick to have. I do love this trick.
Yeah, that it makes you feel for your literal 101 number.
Yeah, like I explained before, it's kind of like they took lessons from the Nemesis system but change it around and make it a system that you recruit people instead. But there is like traces that you can make as a Nemesis system. I can't remember if I talk about this, but there's one example where again, the makeshift police force, which is basically just some subcontractor wielding a machine gun. I mark him as a potential recruit, but he hates DedSec to the core because I zap him from his usual random checkups. He's just doing his job, and then I piss him off. So of course, that's the reason that I keep him on my radar, on the list of potential recruits, despite knowing that he cannot be recruited. And every time I keep going into like a new encounter, like, oh, this is a new outpost, oh, this is a new place where more guards are coming, I keep seeing that same guy. That guy now is promoted. That guy now has better armor. He keeps on appearing to the point that I purposely try to not kill him, just so I want to see, oh, hey, it's him again. I just want to say, oh, I remember this bloke. Hey, man, zap. And then he died. Oh, man. He died permanently. That was the saddest part of my gameplay. Of my playthrough.
Rest in peace, Nemesis, man.
I cannot like revert my save, I think, at the time. And now that I recruited he has a personal trainer. The personal trainer is part of the DedSec crew. She hates DedSec for a bit because, oh boy, why do you kill my trainee? I work with him, you know. There's a black mark on the personal the database there on her that she hates that DedSec kill her trainee. Oh god. I will live on to remember that moment until now.
The real version of she will remember that.
Yeah, it's the small system that outside of that system, the play anyone as anyone system. I think Watch Dogs is just another random open world game from Ubisoft that is not remarkable in any way. But hey, that game certainly saves Legion from the level of mediocrity that most people expected. No, some people still are not sold on the system. That's fine, but for us, I guess it really changes something. I do like my NPC to have feelings in some way or form.
Alyx is better than Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oof. I can hear
Again, apologies,
the
fans.
hackers already coming in. They are downloading, they are hacking through our phones as we speak.
So, what are the odds that our next game is also about odds? Our 31st game is the new XCOM, which, like a landing ship, it just drops anywhere, and it did drop like chitul and just a snap. Oh, it's out.
It's almost like a shadow drop. It would have been even crazy.
Shadow drop.
It would have been crazier if they just announced that, hey, this is a new game, it's out now. But I think this one is like, they've announced it, it's out next week. And if you get it now, I think it was like decently discounted. I think like 30% or 60% of something like that. It's crazily discounted for no good reason other than this is a new XCOM game. We are doing something different with this XCOM game, so don't expect a full XCOM game, but we are trying something out. I hope you enjoy. And you know what?
So, did you enjoy? Did you enjoy this game then?
XCOM Chimera Squad. So by placing the right expectations, I think XCOM Chimera Squad came out for the better. You know, they are experimenting with something. Okay, instead of just having a overarching plot, we are making it much more intimate, like smaller scale, like in one city. And instead of like a counter-terrorism not counter-terrorism, you are a guerrilla terrorist in XCOM 2, I forgot. So instead of that, you've become basically the cops in a city where humans and the aliens now live together. Well, not as harmoniously, but we are basically the peacekeepers lah. So you are out there doing ops, and your characters are rather than your randomly generated humans, you got predetermined characters that you can recruit. They have personalities, they have certain toolkits permanent to them and them only. It encourages you to play a different kind of XCOM. It kind of feels like I feel like comparing it to Fire Emblem might give the wrong expectations, but yeah, it's much more intimate in a way. And intimate by means of, it's not like you customize your own characters to be your friends and family and watch them die, but rather have like the A-team, recurring characters. Like an ensemble that you will collect throughout the gameplay, throughout the campaign. The thing is, I do believe that I don't think that XCOM Chimera Squad will lead something crazy for XCOM 3, but I do like this is some small experiment that they did with some measure of success. I still believe this is a good game. It's not the XCOM 3 that people expected. They should not expect it there. They have already set the expectations low already. But props to Firaxis for actually trying something different this time. Low cost. If it flops, it doesn't matter. But I think overall, it's a successful experiment with tinkering with the XCOM formula. And you know how the XCOM formula, it is so successful now that it's become stale. Like Batman Arkham Combat, it's now a dread. You cannot put that as a marketing point now. So that's XCOM Chimera Squad. Seriously, I do enjoy games that just suddenly 1 week we just announced, here it is.
Imagine Cyberpunk doing that. I imagine the backlash.
Oh man. Imagine Cyberpunk 2078, the side sequel, announced like that. Yeah, then I can believe. Oi. It's okay. We at the home stretch.
The home stretch, the final game in our list, our 32nd and final game out of our supposedly 30 list. It is Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon. Or as I like to call it, Like a Dragon, Like a Dragon. Is it true?
Why do you call it like a dragon?
Because is it the original name like Raya? What? Something dragon.
Oh, yeah. Basically, this is the Resident Evil 7 Biohazard thing. Resident Evil Biohazard, right? Like a Dragon is Ryuga Gotoku, the original Japanese title, is translated to Like a Dragon. So yeah, it is like a dragon, like a dragon. Okay. Now I got it. Now I got your point. Hey, you know what? After all these years, we've played the Yakuza game on time.
Yes, I finally.
After all these years, we have broke the curse. It's not under the games that we didn't play award for how many years in a row. Now it's a proper contender. Where do I start with Like a Dragon? Okay, let me start with it is a fresh start. If you have no idea about Yakuza, you can come in here, just play and just go through all the wild ride. There are a lot of scenes that you might not notice about why are they hyping this so much. Those are basically references from callbacks from past games. But if you don't get the intimacy, the impact of those scenes, that's okay. You can still enjoy the story as it is. New protagonist Ichiban Kasuga is an interesting twist of it's a similar archetype of Kazuma Kiryu, the previous dude man, Yakuza man, who's also an ex-Yakuza. Who's also started, but rather than being the stalwart, cool man, stoic, you say, I'm doing this alone. I'll do it. But rather than that, Kasuga say, I have my nakamas by my side. Let's hop on this party. We will journey through an adventure together because I think all our combat is a JRPG turn-based battle. The weirdest stuff about Like a Dragon is the JRPG combat new to the series. There's room for improvement, but they check all the boxes from your typical what you need from a typical JRPG. You have combat stats, you have status effects, you have elemental properties. I mean, instead of like getting cold, you literally catch a cold, like flu, from being iced, from being exposed to ice. You have summons, which is basically an innuendo for calling in escort services. What else? You get to equip jobs where you actually go to a job center, send your resume to apply for a new job. With new wacky costumes to match. Then what else? Okay, that's about it. But there's more of basically all what you expect from Japan. Even they even have dungeons, just like JRPGs. Those dungeons, they are sewer dungeons, and they are just as terrible as JRPGs do it, which is unfortunately to a fault. So it has even all the cooks of a not so good JRPG because it follows the formula to a T. That being said, everything you love about Yakuza or everything that you heard about Yakuza, either from the memes or from playthroughs, from hearsay words, all of them are still intact with Like a Dragon, with Yakuza 7. you still have side stories where it starts off wacky, but then you finish it on a good note and you can take away a moral of the story. It has wacky mini games like doing a Mario Kart, but the weapons are literal weapons. You have literal machine guns bolted on the go-kart. You actually pull out a rocket launcher to launch rockets. What the other video games include? You gotta run a business where you can hire chickens, Roombas, and questionable animals as your managers to run your brothel to make sure you gain enough money to make sure that when the end of the business period, at the end of the business period, you can go to the shareholder meeting and you can talk back at all of the investors, say it's okay, we're doing it well, we've never been better, hold it. And that is being structured as a rock paper scissors JRPG battle as well, but much more frantic. You can go to karaoke. And weirdly enough, this game is also weirdly ticks the persona checkbox a bit too much. And I'm not complaining because there's a lot of, you can think of Like a Dragon as something like Persona, but all the characters are middle-aged men. But the plot is essentially similar, weirdly enough. Its skills are I need to specify, it's like Persona 5. The plot scales up into a national level. Politics are involved. I'm gonna put it at that. There, you can also make friends with your party members. Instead of a social links, you get drink links. Yeah, they level up.
Okay,
and,
that's good.
Yeah, they know their stuff. They that's a cheeky way, they know. And also, it's not just that. You can also go meet various females around town, including your party members, and you can also develop relationship with them as well. And yes, there's a harem scene. You can literally romance. No, this is what makes Kasuga and Kiryu different. Kiryu is basically the guy that you might question if he even have sex before. He might have said, no, I am too chat for sex. Kasuga is a man. Kasuga is a playboy, man.
Yeah.
He goes around.
Sasuga playboy.
Kasuga, you've gone around town and messed with girls around, huh? And funnily enough, 5 of the female characters you can romance are actually casted as real people. Like, it's a traditional Yakuza thing, a Yakuza game, not the Yakuza thing. A Yakuza game thing where they casted like real actresses to be put into the video game. But instead of I think before this, most of them are AV actors, but this time they've like got like very low key models and actresses, up and coming actresses. So apparently, if you Google those names, it comes out. Oh no, you are looking at a real person there. Oh okay, all right, okay, that's interesting.
Definitely that.
Mm-hmm. I have no other arguments about Yakuza Like a Dragon other than it's finally time that we played Yakuza on time, because man, it's a wild ride and we should talk about this game much more later.
Yeah, true.
I guess that's more than 5 minutes.
No, nah, because it is the final contender for our Game of the Year, and it deserves all the praise, I guess.
I mean, you can tell already where our biases are.
Already, definitely 110. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we are going to be deliberating some more in our next episode, where the things that this is just episode 1. The next episode is where we're going to battle it out, all 3 of us.
Yeah,
where
we gotta suss it out, determine who should win what award, who should be in what award. But
and who should be ejected out of the
Mhm.
airlock, but
But you know what? I think we have given enough time for all our piece for each of the 32 games that we consider the best of 2020, or at least the games that we will remember 2020 by.
Yep. Unlike a certain game that we will still want to say his name. Tapi still.
Hey, again, this is our list. What? There's something missing?
Yeah.
It's okay. You can make your own list. And I would love to listen to that. Hey, I think we should just wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a long episode of dia.log, the Gamer Matters podcast. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you later at the end of the year, or maybe next year.
Yeah.
You
on side.
You will
on side B.
On side B of the Game of the Year awards, of the Gamer Malaya and Gamer Matters 2020 Game of the Year awards. Until then.